What's up, ladies and gents, and welcome back to Forza Horizon 5. We are here with the Back to the Streets Seasonal Championship. And we have to use a car from before 1960, which really limits our options. But in the Forza Fun shop we can buy the Ferrari 250 Testarossa. And the car needs to be in the B class, so between 601 and 700 rating. That is okay. The car is already in the B class. The tuning share code is in the description as always, so feel free to use that. This has the vintage tires and a lot of power. So we'll see what we can do. A lot of the cars here, obviously not nearly as sporty, but since the rating is matched, that doesn't really matter. Obviously we should have a pretty good shot at making something happen here, but the car is highly unstable. But hey, you get some power, right? It's B class, you don't get both. If you want power and stability, you're looking at A class. That's a pretty nifty car. Let's see if we can go past here relatively soon. That would be neat. That looks like a corner where we can do it. Now we pull the old switcheroo maneuver and he is going way off. Alright, now we're out of the city. That should be more to our liking. But hey, we lead already, so can't really complain, eh? But if we don't completely mess up, that should be race 1 in the back. There we go. Taking the landscape with us, eh? Should've gotten a landscaping skill for that. Actually, you don't get landscaping for trees, do you? Or do you? I have no idea. Alright, finishing the race as per usual by not going off the road and avoiding trees. But you can see that is a whole lot of power for a car in the B class. So yeah, kinda have to deal with a little lower stability. But the car is pretty fun, so where is that? I don't recommend the base car, though that's horrible to drive. It's an absolutely horrible drive. Because not only do you have tires from 1957, which are absolutely atrocious, well, you also have the rear-wheel drive, and just, well, like I mentioned, absolutely atrocious handling, so... It's really no wonder so many people died while racing these cars back in the day. Ironically, nobody cared back then, so... There we go, that's a win race number 1. And we don't even have a roof. Or a windshield, for that matter. Both of which kinda help when you have an accident. Actually, we do have a windshield, or an excuse for a windshield. It barely covers the steering wheel. Alright, where's race number 2? Plenty of cars we could have used, but I don't know. This one is available from the Forza Fun shop, so it shouldn't be too difficult to get. And most of the other cars from that era are either, well, simply not available for purchase, or just for wheel spins or rewards, or if you can buy them, they're hella expensive. So I guess some of them are cheap. I haven't really checked all of them, obviously, but the cheap ones normally are then D100 cars, and tuning them to B rating, I don't know. Could do it. Didn't want to do it. I mean, obviously I have like that other car, which was a DLC car, I think. You kind of have to filter those out as well, because I kind of want to use cars that everyone can use. Which makes the drift zones a bit annoying, because like normally I just want to use especially when it's use anything S1 class. We had that like 2 or 3 times already, and I'm always thinking, hey, why not use a Formula Drift car, right? We're made for that, but not to be, we're DLC, you know? Not everyone has one. And I do not want to make the videos for people that own the DLC only. Unless it's ones for DLC specific content, obviously, like the DLC championships and stuff. But that's different, like this is a base game, I don't want to include all the DLC stuff. Which is getting increasingly annoying when you try to pick out which car to use. Because normally what I would like to do is just pick the best car for the challenge. But basically what I want to do is I want to pick a car that can be purchased from the auto shop. That limits the options severely. I want to pick a car that is not part of the DLC. And then the car obviously has to fit the challenge. So it kind of makes it a bit difficult, because sometimes I check the cars that are technically available for each challenge, and then I pick one out and then I check the wiki, and the wiki says, hey, that car is not available at the auto shop, it's only for wheel spins and stuff. And I go, god, okay, let's start anew. What else do we have? That's kind of annoying. And I mean, there normally is a car available that meets the requirements and fits what I want to do and is available without owning any DLC. But I guess that much is obvious, or else some challenges would be locked to people that do not have a DLC. Although I wouldn't put it past them to do that, so... It's kinda, hey, you don't own the DLC? Well, too bad, sucks to be you, man. Can't do that challenge. That would totally be a move that they do these days. A challenge in the base game, mind you, not a DLC challenge, like that one is obvious. And it becomes even better in the DLC because, like in the DLC, I can obviously assume that people own the specific DLC, but I cannot assume that they own all the other DLC, right? So it opens the range of cars to that specific DLC, but not the other ones. That's when it becomes kind of complicated. Alright, last race. With 2 wins, that should make things a lot easier. We're kind of pressing ourselves through. Kind of forcing them to make room. was trying to get to the outside there and press through, but that was way too tight and there was no way for us to do that. Alright, coming in. Oh, that's not great. So where do we position ourselves for that overtake? This should work. I wanted to get a good entry, but I kind of blocked the apex, but we have a better exit anyway due to our all-wheel drive. This car actually has less top speed than the base car, even with the tune. It's just that the acceleration is basically twice as fast, like 0 to 60 miles an hour is basically twice as fast, nearly. I think not quite, but nearly. So we have so much more acceleration and so much more means to actually get to that top speed. It doesn't really matter that it's a bit lower. Should actually get through at throttle here. Oh, that worked. Alright, there we go. So yeah, it was 3 rather comfortable wins, just the way we like it, and with cars that are not necessarily the easiest to drive, so that's pretty good. So, hope you enjoyed it, thank you for watching, and until next time, farewell.